read order. Anybody from the public or legislators have anything they'd like to say? Very wrong. We have two add-ons for tonight. Moving right along, resolution proclaiming April 2024 as Organ Donor and Tissue Awareness Month in Montgomery County. Can I have a sponsor?
I'll sponsor.
Legislator Headwell, sponsored by Legislator Kowalczyk. Discussion, hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained. Next is a resolution authorizing the sale of real property acquired by tax foreclosure in the village of Montgomery. Sponsor.
I'll sponsor.
Legislator Pett, Legislator Wilson. Discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, carried. Next is a resolution correcting the 2024 town and county tax rolls, town of Palatine. Can I have a sponsor? Thank you. Legislator Machuski, seconded by Legislator Kowalczyk. Discussion.
So on this one, our assessor, there was two houses on the property. One was nearly falling down and the other one was being refurbished. She did the refurbished one as English versus Amish, which there's a difference in, they strip out the electric, and the other house that they took down, she didn't take down. So now we have to fix it to remove the one, and she altered the other one to be Amish, which is a little less assessment.
She being the assessor?
Yes. Yep.
Is this the same one?
Huh?
Same assessor?
Yes.
Been handling that area for a while?
Leanne.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. So, there's nothing, she didn't do what she was supposed to do, and there's no way for us to know, that she was supposed to take a house off, or just another one of those.
Any other questions? Not all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, carried. Next is a resolution appointing audit committee. Is there a sponsor?
I'll sponsor.
Legislator Patel, seconded by Legislator Wilson. Discussion.
Add one.
Yeah. You're saying yes? Okay. We'll put Herbie Allen in as the other legislative member. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, carried. Next is a resolution approving abstract of audited claims. Is there a sponsor? Legislator Pett, seconded by Legislator Patel. Discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, carried. And the last one is bond resolution for the County of Montgomery, New York, the county, dated March 26, 2024, authorizing renovations of county-owned property at 1 Denver Road, estimating the aggregate cost thereof to be $1.75 million, appropriating the said amounts therefore, and authorizing the issuance of the 1.75 material bonds of the county to finance said cost. Sponsored by Legislator Pett, seconded by Legislator Chairman Sweet. Discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, carried. Anything under other? Hearing none, motion to adjourn? All right, we're adjourned.
It's 6:04. I'd like to call to the Economic Development and Planning Committee meeting. Is there any discussion from anybody from the floor? If there's no discussion, we'll go right to the resolutions. First resolution is a resolution accepting a grant for round 6 of the Municipal Zero Emission Vehicle ZEV Infrastructure Grant Program, amending the 2024 operating budget in New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, Economic Development, Planning, and Tourism. Sponsor. Legislator Wilson, seconded by Legislator Kowalczyk. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Move that to the full board. Any against? Abstained? Move that to the full board. Next is a resolution scheduling a public hearing, Montgomery County All Hazard Mitigation Plan 5-year update, economic development and planning.
I'll sponsor.
Sponsor is PEP, seconded by Majewski. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Abstained? We'll move that to the full board. Third resolution, resolution scheduling a 30-day public review period, Montgomery County All Hazard Mitigation Plan, 5-year update, economic development and planning. Sponsors, Majewski and Kowalczyk. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Abstained? Move that to the full board. The last resolution is a resolution authorizing the county executive to sign amended agreement with Lero Engineers for engineering services and amending the 2024 operating budget, Exit 29 redevelopment project, economic development and planning, and tourism. Do I have a sponsor? Legislator Wilson, seconded
Here.
by Legislator Pep. Is there any discussion?
Yes. Ken, I just want to, when's this train going to stop? You know, I mean, can you give us an idea?
Yeah.
You know,
right, yeah.
how many more times are we gonna have to add to this? And I understand it needs to be done and, you know, but I'd like to see some light at the end of Andy Dufresne's
Yeah.
tunnel here, you know?
Yeah, if you guys have been out at the site or anything, you can see that they're starting to get towards the end of this, so. We did have a call with Jason Coleman today, the county attorney and I, with regards to this project, and there's no other red flags that we're seeing right now, so everything should be wrapped up, including them demobilized off the site by the end of April.
Thanks.
So what we're seeing right now is that this should be it, you know.
Thank you.
And I think we made that, I think if you know, talk to the county attorney, we made that pretty clear with Zero a couple of different times over the past couple of weeks.
Thank you.
And Jason did say this was a not to exceed, and it could come in under potentially, not to get anyone's hopes up, but that they're anticipating this is the max.
Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Against? Abstained? I'll put down for a full board next week. Is there any further discussion? If there's no further discussion, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Legislator Martin and seconded by Legislator Wilson. Adjourned.
All right, I'd like to call the Education Government Committee meeting to order at 6:07 PM. Open the floor for discussion. Hearing none, on to our resolutions here. Our first resolution authorizing county executive to enter into a contract with Marshall and Sterling for brokerage services. Have a sponsor.
I'll sponsor.
It's like an auction, you know? Head nod, a hand, a card. Legislator Kelly, Legislator Patel. I do have a question, myself. Why are we entertaining this now when it's effective January 1st, 25? And I know it costs 120, and it's not to exceed 120, but I don't see anything in the financial impact statement saying, and that 120 has been budgeted for this year and it will be for next
Yeah,
year.
so it's for next year. One of the things that came up with the controller, we're adding, the aggregate of the contract is going to be more, so I wanted to do the due diligence and put an RFP out because in the contract this year, we're embarking on a program that will save money with prescription drugs. So that's going to push it over the threshold to
Okay.
require an RFP. So to do our due diligence, we got that done and out of the way, and then it's all set for next year.
Okay,
And it will likely that the savings from the prescription drug program will likely far exceed the cost of this
Nice.
contract.
good news, thanks, Brian.
Is Marshall supposed to have 1 L or 2 Ls?
Supposed to have two, I believe.
Can we just mark that as a typo and fix that? It's a couple places.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? All right, moves to next week. Our next resolution authorizing county executive to sign renewal agreement with Matrix Araya. I'll sponsor that. Do we have a second? Legislator Wilson? Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? All right, we'll move to next week's meeting. Our next resolution, introductory local law 1 of 2024, a local law authorizing lease agreements with Cornell Cooperative Extension and Fulmont Community Action Agency. Do I have a sponsor? Anybody? Herbie? And second by Chairman Sweet. Discussion. Yes.
Just one thing I wanted to add, something I've been talking about with Dennis Wilson and Eric brought up. They use one of our dumpsters, and that has incurred costs for the county as well. And I know we have a very good and very generous relationship with Fulmont, but that's something we're going to have to talk about, because they could actually pay for that disposal with some of their funding that they get from the federal government, state government. So there's a chance that we could probably move, it might be a couple $1,000, maybe a month, over to that. But that's going to be a discussion that we have to have with Fulmont moving forward on how we're going to handle that, whether they get their own dumpster or we work out something within our contract. But we kind of punted on it to get a year contract in place, and because we're kind of late on it. Is this fair to say?
There is provision in
I thought I
section-
saw that in there.
in
Yeah.
section 6 that says Fulmont shall be responsible for garbage disposal costs.
Okay, so just to put that on the radar, that's part of the reason why I wanted to bring it up. It's a conversation that's been going back and forth with Dennis, and we're gonna have to, deal with that at some point.
Also, Matt, I see Cornell is rent-free, it's been the case, right? They're not-for-profit. I know Fulmont Action Agency is not-for-profit. When I see how many rooms they got and they're paying $120 a year, I guess that's probably been the case, right, forever?
This is one of those, this is the way it's been, and we've been very supportive of them. Obviously, they're a nonprofit, trying to do the best they can with little resources. But yeah, it's definitely an issue that has to be looked at, and it's not going to be an easy discussion.
Moving out of that though.
I would think $120 a month for all that is a bargain, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, in years past, these have flown through pretty easily, and we've had bigger fish to fry, for lack of a better way to say it.
Yeah.
But it's definitely something I think there's getting some pressure from me from within the departments to do a little bit more, but if that's the direction the legislature wants to go, then I can take that back to Dennis, and we can have a talk about it.
And there's more than one way to skin a cat, right? You know what I mean? So if it saves us from giving them an allocation in our budget every year, like we do for some other agencies.
We can
Then
go
it's
above and
601.
beyond relative, with the support they get from Montgomery County, relative to what they get from other counties, and these agencies in different areas get. They're very appreciative and willing to work with us on it. So we just have to. I'll take this as the moment to start that discussion.
All right, thanks. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? All right, that moves to next week. Our next resolution, urging action by New York State legislators to advocate on behalf of SUNY community colleges to increase funding to community colleges in the state budget. I will sponsor that. Do I have a second? Chairman Sweet. Discussion. Greg, I know this story, having been on the college board for many years, and we've been underfunded by the state forever, but finally some people are putting something in motion here.
That's the hope. We are asking the governor and the legislature to really step up. The counties have continued to increase their contributions to community colleges over the years. The state has not kept pace, and we're asking this year that the state add $100 million, $97 million to the budget for all community colleges. I wish that was just for all community colleges to really have a more equitable funding share of the community colleges.
And can you remind the legislature here, when community colleges were instituted, what was supposed to be percentage mix, and what is it, between county tuition and state, and what it's lower, leveled off at?
Originally, the concept was a third, a third, a third. So a third from the counties, a third from the state, and a third from the students. What the burden has really shifted. The counties, again, are close to that 30%. And the state is really, well, I mean, the funding has been frozen since 2010. And, you know, the students really pick up about 40% of the share right now. At our institution, it's actually more than 50%, so it varies by institution, but on average, you know, the counties, you know, again, are doing what they're supposed to do. The state is not, and the burden has fallen on the students.
So in our instance, it's as little as 20%,
Correct.
low 20s.
Correct.
Yeah, okay, thanks. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions. Our next resolution, the resolution adopting and authorizing funding projects included in the 2024 capital plan. I'll sponsor that. Do I have a second? A second. Legislator Majewski. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions. Motion to adjourn. Legislator Kelly, Legislator Kowalczyk at 6:15.
I'd like to call to order the Health and Human Services Committee. It is March 19th at 6:16 p.m. First on the agenda is discussion. Hearing none. First resolution is authorizing the county executive to sign an agreement with the Bonadio Group for social services. Sponsor Legislator Wilson and Legislator Kelly. Any discussion? I know that this had been brought up before, and I had asked the back half of the Mets to see if you wanted to say anything.
Yeah, we discussed this at budget time, so this is the process of us trying to come in and do a little bit of work and see where we're at with the SS finance. So they're gonna pick a few funding categories. They're doing some interviewing now with our financial staff. We're gonna narrow that down to 3 or 4 program areas. They'll come in and they'll give us some recommendations on how to save some money, make sure that we're maximizing our reimbursement rates with the state. So this is really just bringing in outside resources. We feel like the amount of money that we will save will offset the amount of this contract.
Do I have a sponsor? Oh, I already did that. Oh, forget that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? That moves on to next
Well, I have
week.
another question.
Oh,
What is line A18 that, I mean, is there a name on that account? Because it
Oh,
says,
where we're taking it from?
yes,
Like, yeah, so it's just one of our state reimbursable ones, so I don't know the percentage of that. But
Okay.
again, we're looking at really the cost savings of this, covering the cost of it.
Okay.
That comes out of one of our state funding categories.
okay, thanks.
okay.
Yes, thank you.
Right. Next resolution is increasing petty cash account amount for social services. Sponsor,
I'll sponsor.
Legislator Patel, Legislator Allen. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? That will move on to next week. Next is a resolution authorizing the county executive to sign an agreement with IPH, the Interfaith Partnership for the Homeless, for social services. Sponsor, Legislator Patel and Legislator Pep. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? That will move on. Next is a resolution authorizing the county executive to sign the approved child care facilities agreements for 2024-2025 for social services. Sponsor, Legislator Majewski, Legislator Wilson. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? That will move on to next week. Next is a resolution authorizing the county executive to sign an agreement with Catholic Charities of Fulton and Montgomery counties for warming stations for social services. Sponsor, Legislator Majewski and Legislator Pep. Any discussion?
Just so you guys know, this has been really successful, it just opened this year. And the amount of money, just so you know, we have the house during Code Blue. So the warming station gives us an ability to put 8 people up that we're not paying hotel costs for. So this has been a tremendous cost savings. And I'll give the previous administration a lot of that credit. They put this process in place, but we were able to get this warming station up and running this year, and it's been fantastic. It saved the county quite a bit of money, being able to use that facility as opposed to having to put people up in hotels.
That's the Guy Park Avenue.
It's actually on Kimball Street.
Kimball Street. That- I
So,
went,
yeah, it comes down,
I
yeah.
went and saw that, and it's amazing what they do.
Yeah, so this has been tremendous. Mary Carpenter, our Catholic Charities, got this up and running in a very short time period. So I just wanted to make sure you all were aware that there is some cost savings that are associated with this.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Really?
That will move on to the full legislature. Next is a resolution authorizing the county executive to sign an agreement with Northwoods Consulting Partners Incorporated for Traverse Software for Social Services.
I'll sponsor.
Sponsored by Legislator Pertel and seconded by Chairman Sweet. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? That will move on to next week's full legislature. Next is a resolution amending the 2024 operating budget for the purchase of a vehicle for the county's central mail service for youth and veteran services.
I'll sponsor.
Sponsor is Legislator Pep and seconded by Legislator Allen. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? That will move on to the full board. Anything under other? Legislator Sweet. Kelly. Sweet Kelly.
Do we have to update our petty cash policy when we're adding another petty cash account for DSS?
Maybe. What does it say right now?
I don't know if we have.
Do you know that? Because I know DSS reached out to you on the petty cash question. Is there a petty cash policy?
Just as far as accounting for it, I don't think there's a policy as far as accounting or adding to a resolution and actually changing the amount.
Yeah.
It's also adding location. So it's adding better is the important piece too.
I'll look into it to see if we have a policy. If you know of one, can you talk to me after the meeting?
I don't know of one. I
Okay.
just thought we're adding an off-site that really isn't close to the county petty
Oh.
cash account.
It is a county, it's a county.
It's a county building.
No, I know it's a county building. It's not on main campus.
I'll look into that. I'm not aware of any policy, but I'll look into it.
I don't remember ever.
I thought you were phoning a friend.
You thought I was what?
I know
Phone
we're
a friend.
something when,
Your phone's ringing.
Helen was here with, yeah, we had to pass something about a policy for the county clerks when they increased the petty cash. So,
Okay, that's ringing a bell.
yeah. It might be. I don't know. My brain's foggy.
All set?
COVID.
I'm good.
Okay. Anything else under discussion? I need a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Kelly and Pertel. Yes. 6:23.
Okay, we'll call the Personnel Committee to order at 6:23. Anything from the floor? Committees? If not, a resolution amending the 2024 operating budget carryover American Rescue Plan funds for projects approved in the 2022 budget year. Sponsor Wilson and Kelly. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Okay. Next resolution amending the 2024 operating budget mandated salary increases. Have a sponsor? Sponsor Chad and Brian. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Abstain. Okay, we have an add-on resolution authorizing the county executive to sign an agreement with Anthem for Medicare Advantage Plan. Sponsor? Mike? And Dan. Any discussion? Okay, Nicole?
So currently we have Humana. Humana's done very well with the county and the retirees, and has provided excellent service for the retirees over 65. However, there has, over the last few months, maybe up to 6 months, there's been negotiations with some of our providers locally in the Capital District with Humana. That's something that's beyond our control. It happens periodically. They have not been able to come to an agreement, which is going to cause disruption for our retirees. So unfortunately, that left me to have to look for additional providers for our retirees to have less of a disruption for them. I had our broker, Western, go out to bid to see what we could find. And Anthem, we have 3 that came back. Anthem wasn't the lowest bid, but was the best for services that were most suitable for our retirees, given the current plan that they have now. And when I say they weren't the lowest bid, it was negligible in pricing. Overall, Anthem came in at just about $200,000 in cost savings, which will benefit both the counties and the retirees. So my recommendation is that we move forward as June 1st transition. And the reason why I can't do a transition right now is because with Medicare, there's mandatory 60 to 90 day for a full takeover. So June 1st will be the date. I've communicated somewhat with the retirees, but haven't mentioned this yet. Obviously, because it needs to come to you first. So we're prepared to start having meetings with them, and I have a letter ready to go once this passes so forth.
Did you get any, did any retiree have any difficulty with it? I know like NYOH is gonna stop using it in April and Albany Med in June. Has anybody encountered any roadblocks with it?
We've had 30 to 50 retirees that have encountered issues where NYOH and Albany Med have both said that they will not bill Humana and will not even bill out of network. So
Right.
that leaves the retirees to have to pay out of pocket, and frankly, no one can afford critical care payments such as cancer treatments. And I just can't, speaking with the county executive, we just can't see a disruption like that when somebody's in the most critical need.
No.
So, you know, and unfortunately, though, we were hopeful that the negotiations would work out, as most of them do, but this one is not. And the retirees are getting information from Albany Medical that they need to change their health plans right now, and so I'm trying to communicate with them that they don't have to do that we're going to do that for them. There may be a little bit of a disruption for the transition over. Right now, community care physicians have ended their contract. That was effective already. Likely those services are more like image care and primary care physicians. It's not as critical of a disruption at this point, so they can find an alternative and we'll help them find alternative doctors. And Tristan in my office has been fielding 99% of the phone calls and has been working with them to help them through this process.
Thanks.
Matt?
Yeah, I would just add to this, that, you know, to characterize this as a disruption, I think is very professional, but this has been a really challenging situation for employees. I mean, essentially, you can't go to your doctor, and to have to, you know, all of a sudden deal with a very unexpected issue, hoping it would work itself out. I think they've come up with a great solution. Personnel has been fantastic on this issue. And then the silver lining is that in doing this, you're coming up with a $200,000 savings. So kudos to personnel on this one.
Nicole, if you said this already, did our company, did anybody come to you and say, get out of this? Or is it just a response to our retirees' reactions to it? Because I mean, I was on Humana, and I had a company come to me that I get my Medicare Part C through, and they said, we gotta get you out of it. They were proactive about it, I guess is my.
I think it's a mix of both, right?
Okay.
So we've been looking at this for a little bit. We've been in communications with Humana. Humana has been very, very good through this whole process, and understanding through this process. But we've been hearing from retirees that have actually been tipped off first by a retiree who received notification from one of the physicians.
Yep.
And then I've been staying on top of our brokers, trying to figure out whether we're going to negotiate, and with Humana to see if the negotiations were going to move forward. But it's actually Albany Med stopped the negotiation.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Under other, no.
No, we're still,
I would just add that this contract
Any discussion, more discussion on this? All in favor of sending to the full board?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Other?
There was a discussion earlier this evening about policies about petty cash. I'm not able to find a petty cash policy. So if, for instance, the personnel office wanted to create a petty cash line, it would just be done by a budget transfer. And if you look at history in Montgomery County, that's all we've done is created a line under the account. For instance, it was done for the county clerk in 2021. We just created a petty cash line. That's done by county law 371.
Anything else? Motion to adjourn? Kelly? Second. Chad? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'd like to call the Physical Services Committee to order. Discussion? Hearing none, I'll go right to the resolution number 2. Resolution amending 2024 operating budget for Public Works. Legislator Pep. Legislator Kowalski. Discussion? All those in favor of moving to full board, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? So moved. Item number 3, resolution to assign highway construction contracts from Gorman Brothers Incorporated to States Construction, DBA Gorman Construction.
I'll sponsor.
Legislator Pertel, Legislator Pratt. Discussion? All those in favor of move it to a full board, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? So moved. Item number 4, resolution to award bids to authorize the county exec and execute contracts 2024 road maintenance program, Public Works. I'll sponsor it. Looking for a second. Chairman Sweet. Discussion. All those in favor of moving it to a full board, say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstained? So moved. Item number 5, resolution county exec to enter into agreement the grass and brush control, county roads 2024-2025. Legislator Kowalski. Legislator Pertel. Discussion.
Discussion.
Oh,
Megan, how can we pay for something before it's done? So we're paying for this service that won't be done until September or October.
Are we sure about that for a fact, that we pay it before
Well,
they
this is,
complete the,
this is for 24, 25.
well, sometimes they enter into the contract, but they don't pay until after it's done. I don't know how Eric is administering the contract, but usually there's safeguards in place.
Sean, you have any idea when we paid for it last year?
Last year was March.
It was paid upfront in March.
I mean, this just goes back to the concern that I've always had about control over what's being done. I mean, we're giving them, I mean, we're paying for a contract, we're paying for services, and I mean, it's just not on this one, but it's other things that there's no oversight. Who's to say that they don't do what's in the contract and, well, they've already been paid? How do you handle something like that?
Typically, that's something that would be caught by auditing or the auditing committee, and something we should probably discuss with the department. It's, you know, there's different theories, but if you're asking me how I would legally defend it, the best legal option for the county would be to pay as in either quarterly payments or as work is completed. There might be the argument that they can't complete the work without the gas, without the startup, and without the equipment, and they need some of those costs up front. So there might be a reason to stagger payments. I'm not part of those discussions,
Yeah.
so it's worth talking about.
So alongside that, I guess it would coincide with the snow plowing contracts. How do we handle that? Do we pay beforehand, or would we pay?
Yeah, 50/50, play and leave half in, let's see, January, the other half in April.
Yeah.
That's 2 payments.
I will say, just add to it, this is very similar to the snowplow contracts in that all towns are not created equal. Some do more than others based on expectations within the town. Also, I will say that, you know, if this issue has come up and we start addressing accountability more, you're gonna start hearing a lot more that they are not getting what they need to do the job, and that is grossly underfunded. Just to kind of put all the issues out there. It's kind of like the snowplow contracts, and what, for one town that only mows back a certain amount, or does it a certain amount of times during the year, versus others that go the full amount and do it more regularly. It's kind of another hornet's nest issue, and I've found it easier, frankly, over the years to just kind of stick with what we're doing because they're accustomed to it, but, you know, we certainly can take a look at it.
No, I'm just asking because of paying prior to services being rendered, or
Yeah.
any way, that's, you know, I mean, it could be any bill that, but this is this one, and I'm not looking at, you know, saying that one town or the towns are not doing a good job, it's just the overall, you know, I don't wanna sit upstairs in the annex building with someone from the controller's office and say, why are we paying bills prior to them being done? And I just,
I think it's a valid point.
you know.
Any other discussion on that?
So can we give ownership to somebody for finding an answer to that, or we're gonna have further discussion at some point about it?
As far as when it gets paid?
Yeah, I think that's a valid point. I think that we should at least have another discussion about it. So,
Yeah, I mean, I could have Eric send out an email to the group on, you know, the rationale and the whys to the.
I'm not suggesting that, I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
I don't think we have to go and ask the vendors, the towns and stuff, but internally, let's.
Yeah, that's what I'm
have a
saying, Eric
discussion.
should just say, hey, this is the background, and then you can make a decision from there.
It's spelled out in the
Kelly.
contract.
Can we just add verbiage in the contract for the mowing to resemble what the snowplow is? Pay 50% now and 50%?
I'm sure you could.
Is it in the
You'd
contract
have to talk to who
now?
works on contracts.
What's
I
that?
wonder who that is.
Good thing they're in the room.
I'm not sure that, I have not memorized the payment provision of the mowing contract, but they're not signed yet, so we could certainly revise it. But I do agree that, you know, the town should have notice.
Yeah, and they do, you know, I mean, they have to sign and get entered into the contract as well, so,
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the reaction would be to that. My guess would be some of the bigger towns, not a problem, some of the smaller ones might be counting on it, like you said, to help fund the operations, but again, that's just off the top of my head.
Might be worth having Eric just
Yeah.
field the calls and say,
He might
hey,
even have the answer now, you know,
Yeah.
but
yeah,
that's why I thought maybe for just the first step with him, and then, you know, however you'd like us to proceed.
Yeah.
I mean-
Me personally, if it mirrored the snowplow contract, that would make sense.
yeah.
Right, maybe in the past, we've paid them later in the year, and this is just one time or a couple times where we've just been ahead of the game, putting these things in and doing this, where maybe in the past, we've always did them in September, October, and, you know.
Sounds good.
Okay. Any other discussion? All those in favor to move to full board, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? So moved. Anything under other? Motion to adjourn? Laser Kowalski and Kelly? Okay.
All right, like to call to order the public safety meeting, 6:39 PM. Any discussion? No? Moving on to first resolution amending the 2024 operating budget and adding a full-time assistant public defender. Any sponsor? Second, Pep and Kowalczyk. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained?
I think Mark had a question.
Oh, sorry. You gotta yell a little louder.
That's okay. So is this actually hiring another attorney, or is this,
This is another attorney.
okay, now will this do anything with the on-call stuff that we did?
This would, we would add another person to the on-call rotation. This is 100% funded by the state.
For now,
Pardon?
for now.
Well, if it's not, then it's in the resolution, the position would go away. So, and it will bring our city of Amsterdam
be into compliance with caseload standards. Amsterdam City Court is really busy.
Thanks. I see a typo. It looks like indignant legal services there. We got GENT on the, under the line item. Yes. Increase.
Any further discussion?
Yes, just one quick one. I got a chance to speak to a couple of you previously, but I promised Eric up in probation that I would have this discussion. One of the issues that we're battling in IT is the reluctant nature of the department over the years to move things to the cloud. And one of the things that we did not move to the cloud and kept on our servers was the case management software for in probation. We had an issue with the server, and it's become quite a difficult situation. There might be an add-on next week to help get this information into the cloud and get it safe and sound moving forward. So this literally just happened over the last couple of days. So I don't have a resolution ready, but I just wanted to give you a heads up on that. And if anybody has any more questions, I'd be happy to talk about it in a little more detail.
Thank you. Any further discussion? No? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Move to the full board. Resolution amending the 2024 operating budget with forfeiture money for the district attorney.
My sponsor.
Patel,
A second.
second by Wilson. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Carried to the full board. Any further discussion? No? Make a motion to adjourn. Walczyk, Wilson. Burn. Sorry.
Kelly got burned.
Kelly got burned. You gotta wave a little louder.
Oh, no, I'm the closer.
If you weren't